What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell.
Because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family without further ado. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
What do you think about African Americans? What can you say about them? Well, African American, I think they're kind of a special breed because
a special breed, bro. I was rolling the dice on you.
What?
I thought we was gonna hit the first roll. What is a special breed?
It sounds like we
hybrids or something. Yeah, like we got polka dots on our back. Like what is it? What? Hold on, from the top.
Yeah. What do you think about African Americans? What can you say about them? Well, African American, I think they're kind of a special breed because for one, they cut across culture. That's the African culture and the American culture. So sometimes I think some of them sometimes kind of overdo the American thing, forgetting Africa is home actually, you know. So, but generally, I think African Americans are a very cool set of people. You know, they're taking over. They're really doing well. They're doing well. How can African Americans and Africans bridge the gap?
Before we even talk about bridging the gap, listen. All right, listen.
All right. Okay.
How can we know something that we don't know?
Okay. Yeah.
That's why we had to create our own African American culture here.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of it we have kept. You know, some
secretly.
of it. Yes. And a lot of people who may not know anything about Africa may not even realize. Like, for instance, our jambalaya.
Yeah.
The culinary historians in our home state acknowledge that our jambalaya is from West Africa. But of course, you know, our state has a lot of different cultures, so a lot of different cultures has put in to, you know, it's not jollof anymore, it's jambalaya.
There you go.
Another thing, gumbo, right? Y'all vegetable that y'all call gumbo is okra to us.
Okay.
And that is the classic gumbo that we make. That's a culinary. What else can I say?
I mean, those two is hitting the nail.
Right.
You're knocking on the
That's only one, and that's about food. Y'all know we talk about food a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we created our own African American culture.
We had to, and like I said, it was in secret at first because everything was stripped. And then you also got to think about it. We was being told what not to do.
And whip.
Drums, no. Smiling, no. Reading, no. Jokes, Dancing, I think they had to go out in secret and do that.
Okay.
That became a thing because, like, whenever they would have their festivals and their holidays, they allowed them go do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff was being kept secretly. But you got to think about even the children, whenever they was coming up, they didn't know what life was like.
Right.
They were being born into this type of stuff. So.
Right. And in New Orleans, we had the Congo Square.
Congo Square, that's another one. Yeah.
That's where all of the enslaved Africans from all over, you know, because they took us from all over, were able to come together and preserve some of our culture. But that's Louisiana.
Yeah.
They didn't have that in a lot of places. Okay? So, of course, we're going to have more American than we have African, and that's okay. That's why we got to learn about each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little brain
special breed. I'm still stuck on that.
That was, like I said, I was rolling. We was rolling out dice on you, bro. That first one was a hard miss.
Okay, but as regards bridging the gap, I think the aspect that has to do with bridging the gap is a cultural thing. So I think the African Americans need to learn or know more about the African culture, how we do things over here, then look at how they can actually integrate that into their everyday American life, because that's the life they are exposed and more used to. But I think they need to know more about Africa and you know the things that actually hold sway here. I know they like rap.
Hold on. Okay, so.
And vice versa, if you wanted to mention that last part. I feel like vice versa too. You can't learn one without the other. It's two sides to a coin, which is mad important. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't hurt me now. Don't hurt me. But I feel like that was a one-sided statement. I feel like it has to be all of us together. 100%. And I also, what I don't like is that the focus is always on Africans and African Americans. And for the life of me, I just don't understand why. I know why a little bit, because we were raised in America. America is like a superpower. Not like it's a superpower. Fight me on that, okay? Fight me,
what the?
But We have to stop leaving out our people around the diaspora.
That's
we can't
important.
have these conversations and not include the Caribbeans. We can't have these conversations and not include South Americans. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Hey, but you hit it on the head because it's deeper than that. It's not just not just two groups. It's a lot of groups.
Yeah, and
but,
it can't be one-sided, y'all.
You know.
I know they dress well.
Thank you.
I like most of their dresses. I modeled some of my dresses after theirs.
Okay.
I know the slavery. There's a slavery. What's the word I'm looking for? Complex. You know, Black Americans that Black Americans have. But I don't know. Maybe because I'm not a Black American, I don't have that. I don't see what the big deal is. You know, I feel like I can walk away from a racist comment and I won't feel hurt by it. But the Black Americans will feel hurt. Yeah. When the white American says nigga, they go, oh man.
Crazy word.
I wonder what the whole thing is. Just a word, but yeah.
Crazy word.
I get it. I know Barack Obama was.
No, that's why just to add a little input, and that's why it's important to know your history.
Right.
Words can definitely hurt. You know how they say words can hurt. Words can hurt, but words sting a little bit more because of how and who is saying it, and because of how they was using it at the time when it was saying it, and to say it at a time like this, thinking that they're still in the same mindset. It's like you can't bring that in this new era. It's not gonna cook right. It's not gonna cook right.
You know, for our state, right? I'm gonna bring up our state a lot. There was a law that African Americans could not be unemployed, and that we had to be employed by a white American, and they had to answer for us if we did something wrong. That's in our state. Of course, it's not when we was born, because baby, I couldn't have.
I hear you.
Our ancestors live a time. Not even our ancestors. Our parents and grandparents live a time, baby. I don't know how they survived. But that is one of the laws that they were under. So imagine that subjugation where you are a 50-year-old man
50.
And you have to answer to a 20-year-old boss.
Can't even move up the food chain on that one.
Chap.
Stuck in your position.
Yeah, so I feel like for our generation, you said what?
Yeah, so that word is still hold weight. It just don't, something that not too many people hold, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
so, and it's like we have that. A lot of people don't realize that we still deal with that trauma through our genetics.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I do understand that you all were colonized by people who use that word. And I honestly don't know how y'all truly feel about the word. But for us, it's like, this is not the 60s no more. This is not the 30s. We gonna check it each and every time.
Yeah. That's how it go.
Black American, first Black American president. Personally, I don't think there is a gap between on our side, on the African side. I don't think there's a gap because, we don't feel inferior to them. I think they have to, become more welcoming. They seem to be a little bit proud, and we don't understand where it's from, But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Wow, okay. Yeah. So what do you think about African Americans?
I want to comment on that one. Okay. Honestly, guys, I feel like that's just an online thing.
Yeah,
outside of social media, I don't see that happening in real life. In real life, I don't see that happening. Yes, there may be some riffraff when, recent immigrants will come here and they're being told not to go around us. But other than that,
I don't know whose reality that is.
No, like... Other
than the internet. Like, if you go on internet back and forth with somebody, and most times it's probably not who you're talking to. Got to keep that in mind. Yeah, I don't know no one in the street that's having those issues.
Right. And now, I have told y'all time and time again, where we grew up, we didn't have big immigrant populations.
Yeah, we had those conversations
Our immigrant populations was the Asian community, South American community, Mexican community. Now, when you go to other parts of the United States, maybe they dealt with that, but... Here, we were always welcoming.
Yeah.
We all live around each other, so...
100%.
What do you think about them?
African Americans, I think they're pretty cool. I mean, they are Africans that went to America now.
Obviously. Like, maybe they are descendants.
Yeah. And they've been there for a while. I think they're pretty cool, They like a lot of African things, and they they're cool. Yeah,
She was a good role. We hit with that one.
Okay,
That was
what
a good
about you?
one.
What do you think about African Americans?
He looked like he about to say something.
Like I've seen quite a number of them. I'm not seen, but maybe movies and they're depicted in a particular way.
What kind of way?
The hood.
Their accent, you know them by their accent.
The accent?
Yes, the way they speak is different from typical Americans. I don't know much
We're
about
not
their
typical
origin
American,
or
though.
anything, but there are lots of them that are in over there.
How can
I don't like
African
the way you
Americans
talk.
and Africans bridge the gap between them?
I think there has to be a lot of understanding, and so there's this thing of discrimination in America, maybe for African Americans or for Africans. But I think we're really working on it in our culture these days. People are talking about the fact that Black Lives Matter and all of that. So let's just keep it up. Let's keep up the unity and say that we're all one. We're just humans, irrespective of our the color of our
One
skin.
love. Yeah.
Okay, what about you? How can we bridge the gap between African Americans and Africans?
For the African Americans, a lot of them grew up in that society, and they include people in diaspora, people living over there. So they grew up in that society. It's going to be very difficult for them to relate to this society also.
The African society.
The African society, and because there are some issues that are peculiar to Africans. There are some issues, so they won't be able to relate in that aspect.
Two different worlds.
Most of them, I believe they see themselves, that's the African Americans, see themselves as part of the American society. So in this case, developed world. So it's going to be very difficult, in my opinion.
Okay, and I think they both saying the same thing. And hear me out when I say that. She said we need understanding, and he said it takes a lot to understand for us to get over here and understand how things work in their world. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's a reality. You go into a new place, you got to get a full involvement type of day to really see what's happening. Really talk to people, really sleep a few weeks there. You really got to get involved with what's going on. And that's going to help you understand.
Right. And I don't think it would be difficult for us to understand. I just think that the person have to want to understand. I don't think it's difficult at all.
I know a lot of people that just that loves to go back to the motherland.
Right.
They want to go back.
It's not that much different. I think just wanting to learn about a place, wanting to learn about a culture, people, that's where you gain the unity at. But there is I understood what he was saying, where there's some things that we may not be able to understand. Like for the tribalism video that we reacted to,
that was a learning point.
That was a learning experience for us. Because as African Americans, what we try to get y'all to understand about our culture is that our culture, yes, we're all black nationally, but when it comes to our culture, it's more regional. A person from Louisiana is not like a person from Atlanta. We have two different cultures. It's still the South, but the way we speak, the way we, just do
Cook
things, our food is different. It's more regional, but that's not tribalism. So.
But I get what you're saying, though. It's just a comparison to help people understand how it's different.
Right. That's one of the things that I think we would not be able to fully understand the tribalism. And
let me say this though, for people that may not fully understand, anytime you have a disagreement with a person or there's two different opinions, y'all have to start with the small similars, right? The small similarities, and that's how you build into the understanding growth, right? We don't want to look at things that we don't understand about each other and then get aggravated or agitated and want to cause an argument behind those issues when we just don't understand it, right? And that's just normal. But when you find something that's similar, you start there, and that's where you find growth.
Right. Yeah. And it's okay not to understand something.
It's perfectly fine.
Because unless you're wanting to change it or you're able to change it, just leave it alone.
Right.
And focus on the good parts.
It reminds me of telling the toddler to pick that up and they look this way.
Right.
And he's like, it's right there. And they look dead at it. It's like, I don't see it. I was like, but you're looking at it. Pick that up and they stay like they don't see it. Funny moment, bro. Funny moment. Just got to laugh sometime.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I want to add to that.
Okay.
I think they can immerse in culture more. That's if you're trying to bridge the gap between African Americans and Africans, right? They can immersed in the culture the way they do. And what is culture? Food, music,
we talk about that.
our weddings.
Oh, yeah.
They can keep
Oh,
it
the
up.
weddings
is lit.
Keep cooking their mala. I keep listening to
The African Afrobeat.
exactly.
Yeah, my piano.
Exactly.
What do you think about African Americans? What can you say about them?
Okay. Well, my perception of African Americans, from what we see online and things we see in movies, I feel like they feel like they are superior to we Africans who reside there and who grew
Wow.
from Africa. Yeah, they feel like they are superior. They don't. They most times don't want to associate.
I would love you to drop at least one movie for us to go check out,
Right.
to see what they're talking about, because I want to see what these movies are. I gotta see this. Like, I gotta have my popcorn for this one.
I'm trying to think of our movies. Like, there's not many movies. I mean, maybe in the recent years, but there's not many movies where it's about African Americans and Africans.
Right,
unless
exactly.
it's like a slave-based movie.
But we got our picks though. We got our type of movies that we watch that has nothing to do with being like that.
No, it's if it's an African American movie, it's about African American culture and society.
Learning experience.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Drop that in the comment section.
But besides the internet, besides this internet era, the back and forths and all that, where do you all get us thinking that we're superior?
Besides the internet. And then I
Just
remember
help
you
me
mentioning
understand.
at one point, and myself saying that you guys just gotta kind of take everything with a grain of salt,
Right,
especially
right,
when it's on TV or the internet.
Right.
9 times out of 10 is entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out that recently, there has been a lot of noise going around Nigeria. A lot of people are wanting to visit Nigeria and stuff, and they are beginning to want to relate. If you look at our national team, you find like a number of whites, half Nigerian, trying to get into the team. So, well, basically, I think they are cool. They are cool people, but yeah.
African Americans are nice people. They are good to be with. Just that there are wrong narratives.
Like what? Like what?
Them being gangsters.
Gangsters.
Speak on it,
thieves,
brother.
And thieves.
Yeah. So, but I'm very sure that that's a very wrong narrative that's been spread around. Americans, they are very nice people, and when you see, they are more of like successful Black Americans. Yeah. It's going to be a very difficult task to bridge that gap.
You think so?
Yeah, it's going to be.
Why do you feel so?
I feel like they have to be in Africa to like have little experience about the African lifestyle before they can understand. Because even they themselves, they are told that Africa is poor, Africa is this, Africa is that. So like fake media is just so rampant.
What the media shows us about Africa and what they see about Africa.
Come see it.
What do you think about African Americans? What can you say about them?
African Americans are, from my own knowledge, migrants or people that have origins in Africa, that maybe by way of slavery or by way of birth, they grew up in America and now are citizens there. And most of them, based on when their forefathers, migrated to America, have now become indigenous of America. So African Americans are basically Americans who have their origins from Africa. African Americans, if you see them, they are very dynamic, both in perception, both in their doings, both in their clothing, in their speech, in short, their general outlook, their general way of life. They don't see things the same way a typical white man will see things. So, and that has also made that has informed what has informed that is as a result of their African traits. That is why most times when you see African Americans, the same way they behave, is the same way we Africans behave. But the only thing is just that you see them, they grew there, all their life has been there, and everything that they do is there. Okay, so the basic thing is
hold on, I just want to share my thoughts, man. I just love it whenever, first of all, he's talking right.
He is.
And I just love it when you guys share your thoughts from a knowledgeable place of understanding slavery.
Right.
I feel like that is real
and
important.
From like
the to
slavery
and from.
to now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that right there helps a lot of people get an understanding about us.
Right. And that's the thing. He did the work to understand us. And just like he did the work to understand us, we have to do the work to understand them as well.
Exactly.
Because when I don't want to bring up no topic that they be having wars about.
Just don't do it.
Because it's complex, you know, from both ends. We got to understand each other. We got to at least put ourselves in their shoes a little bit to understand.
Yeah. I feel that.
Your origin, it gives you a different perception about you. We see a lot of people like Idris Elba. We see a lot of big celebrities who are who have African origin coming back. Even Beyonce at the point had to, affiliate or how will I put it now? Try to have this relationship with Africans. Africa. So basically, once you start coming back home, your mindset changes. You know that there is actually no difference between you and a typical African. Than the old way of people seeing things, that whenever you see Africa, what you are seeing is maybe Sahara village, poor people. You understand? But it's not like that. It's not like that. So a lot of things are changing. A typical example is religion. They brought religion into Africa. But today, Africans are the ones championing religion. Africans are the ones setting the pace. Africans are the ones setting standards for them. They no longer have standard in religion. It is basically Africans that are now, if you look at most of these churches and the ministries and foundations, they all have their headquarters in Africa. Wow. Now going back to save Americans and other parts of Europe. Wow, you understand? Wow, so basically, Africa, the best way to bridge the gap is first of all understanding your relation, your background. Try to understand where are you coming from. Once you know this is where you're coming from, there is a way of tracing your pedigree. Once you are able to trace your pedigree, I can assure you that you will know that Africans, because of the fact that they are here, they are not separate, they are not distinct, they are not totally different from you, an African American. You understand? You all share the same traits. The only difference is, where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, 100%, man. We're gonna stop him right there. Make sure you guys go check his channel out. And he's absolutely right. I love how he was talking. He literally just gave everybody a good blueprint on how to unify. You know what I'm saying? About research and understanding one another. And I remember when I was working at my last job, bro, like most of my friends was African, and I generated towards them and they generated towards me. It's like the love and the genuineness. Like we really would hang out, chill, have great conversations, and it was no ill intention. You know what I'm saying?
Me either. I don't know. And we grew up loving on Jamaican culture. You know, I'm really not with people back in. Okay. Yeah. We grew up loving Jamaican culture, the Rastafari, Bob Marley. Like, you know, like he really brought a lot of people together. Not just black people, but he brought a lot of people together. True. That's why now that people see that he is actual biracial, they like, what? And I'm like, you wasn't a real Bob Marley fan. That's what it means about learning people, understanding people's culture, their backgrounds, why they behave the way they behave, why do they act the way they act. Like the first one of the other guys, he was like, as an African, he could just walk away from a racist comment.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we don't, and it's not to be gangsters or anything. It's about respect.
Right.
Y'all know how we feel about respect. Respect is the first guideline on this channel. And so before you can even write a comment, we don't play about respect. Right?
They got a quote saying that if he did it before, he could do it again. Woo! And it's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense to allow something like that that holds out a amount of trauma and weight towards a history to be repeated in such a way where it's normal, and it's not normal.
Especially if it's with the hard ER.
Oh.
All right, y'all. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's all love.
All love, 100%.
Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.